Welcome to another episode of the State of the Bulldogs. Sam, Mike, Jeb, and Grant. Grant tonight, Jeb may be popping in. We shall see. But Grant, basketball team's on a heater. Baseball starts tomorrow. Apologize for the delay. We just had some stuff get in the way. But Grant wins against Citadel, Mercer, Wofford, in a strong fashion. I mean, literally, if you listen to us last week, the week before that, we would say that Samford, if they're going to win, it's going to be tight. And sure enough, we've rattled off three straight. I'm not going to say all blowouts, but wire to wire,
Good enough.
nice strong wins. I feel like we're building some real momentum here.
Yeah, it's amazing how much better you feel. One, when you win four in a row, and two, when you don't have to worry about it if the games are close. We just won't make them close. We don't have to worry about whether it goes down to the wire or not. We'll just find a way to keep the lead strong enough to where we don't have to have another ETSU or Furman situation like that. We'll just keep it even keel and get some wins, like you said, beating Mercer by 20 and then Wofford by 17.
It's amazing what happens when you play a little bit better on defense. You make a few more free throws, um, and you just play overall a little bit less hectic and a little more smooth, a little more patient.
Yeah.
We're looking all right, Grant. I'm not going to say, I mean, look, we have a tough 3 games ahead of us where
Yeah.
we will certainly fall back to down to earth a little bit, but at least we're feeling good about not having to play on Friday. I mean, that's
Yeah.
kind of been the takeaway from this 4-game win streak. We're feeling much better than the mob.
Yeah. Chattanooga, yeah, you mentioned they had the same thing we talked about. Oh gosh, we're gonna play on Friday. Is the 8-9 game going to be Chad and Samford, a battle just to see who gets to play ETSU? But now it looks like it's going to be Chad and Western as it stands right now, kind of fighting, see if they get a chance. Hopefully Western wins that one. Like if they play each other, Western wins, and they've already beaten ETSU twice. Maybe they could do it a third time. We'll see. But as it looks right now, Samford and Furman are kind of destined to be the 4 or 5 matchup, depending on if Samford can keep this run kind of going.
Yeah, I mean, which will be fun. I don't love it because Furman has had our number, obviously. But let's get to the Mercer game. So we beat Citadel, but the Mercer and Wofford were a little more intriguing, mainly because we held Mercer, Grant, to 49 points. 49 points. I mean, I guess it helps when they go 4 for 17 from three. Um, do you chalk that up to our perimeter? I mean, I was at the game. It felt like we were playing uh, more not physical defense because physical is not really a term we can use with this team, but a little more. I mean, we played zone almost the entire. I felt like the entire game, which limited their clean outside looks. And then I think where we benefited was they weren't able to take advantage of the easier inside looks they would get. I mean, a couple of their big guys had easy baskets and they would just miss layups. And we were fortunate in those situations. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'm going to give some of the credit to the defense, but I want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I think it is the team defense kind of stepping up. You mentioned the 49 points. That's the lowest amount of points Samford has allowed against a D1 opponent. They Reinhardt scored 49 points, and that's a D2, D3 team. But 49 points is the lowest against any D1 opponent. The next lowest I can look at VMI 50 held them to 58. That's when Samford went on a 24-0 run or whatever to push that. But yeah, I think it is a matter of the defense playing a little bit better and just forcing guys to make tough shots. Like we saw that earlier. Citadel kind of has some success getting good one-on-one matchups. They're a little bit bigger than Samford. They found a way to get some easy buckets. Mercer, you would have thought with Armani Mighty coming in, he's been awesome leading the conference. He and Dylan have kind of been battling for who was the best big man with Cooper Bowser being out. But I think it is the team defense kind of stepping up and getting a little bit better. And 49 points is just a really good barometer for this defense as they try to get better and better with the big games they have coming up in a couple weeks.
And like I said, he got his looks. Faulkner was strong in the post. Shaver was strong. Shaver got a couple fouls. I think the refs, especially I think in the near the end of the first half, got a little bit whistle happy with Shaver. He got a kind of really dumb ticky tacky foul that put him on the bench. But yeah, Mercer's big man got his opportunities, just wasn't really able to capitalize, especially considering, or they really needed, especially considering the amount of missed threes they had. But I mean, yeah, clean game, and it didn't feel like, and that was the other thing, Grant. It didn't feel like everything on offense was going well for us. We also struggled from the 3 point line, going 6 for 19, but we did not struggle at the free throw line as much as we have. 15 for 20, much much better. 75% feels like 100% when we're shooting 50 or 60% some games. So
Yeah, even if you break it down 15 to 20, Jaden was 14 to 14 from the free throw line,
insane,
which is
insane.
pretty. He was 14 for 14, then he missed his first one against Wofford. He's like, seriously, dude, you just made 14 in a row. It's kind of funny. He kind of reacted like, seriously, I can't believe it just missed after Mercer. But yeah, 14 to 14. Will free throw. Dylan only shot one free throw, so that kind of helps the numbers a little bit too. But again, 16 to 9 for Dylan in 23 minutes. They've done a good job. He's getting some points and boards against Wofford too. He only played like 15 minutes and still had a double double. Pretty impressive. They got to find a way to kind of limit his fouls a little bit more. But I mean, if you can throw Shaver out there for 14 minutes, only scored one basket. But I mean, he's getting a little bit better defensively on that end. So you give it take whether Dylan's out, then Shaver can pick up some of those defensive turns.
Yeah, and the second half was obviously slower. I mean, when you have almost a 20-point lead going into halftime, there's a certain part where the offense wasn't clicking for the first few minutes. Their offense wasn't clicking for the first few minutes. So then we just kind of put it into grinded out mode where we weren't trying to fly up and down the court. We weren't trying to, drain threes. We shot 9, only made 1, which is, not ideal. But the intensity, especially on the offensive side of the ball, slowed down a lot in the second half. So I would have been interested to see if we'd been able to keep pouring it on. Could we have gotten to 80? Probably wouldn't have been able to keep them below 60, but still, second half was a little bit boring compared to the first. First was awesome. It felt like a beatdown. The second one felt like we just were trying to get out with a win.
Even I didn't get to go to that one, but still watching on my phone. It's like, okay, we're up 15, up 18, then up 20 and a half. Said, oh wow, this is
It didn't feel.
Thing.
I mean, we started out on like an 18-6 run, basically. It didn't feel like everything that was happening should be happening, if that makes sense. But it was.
Yeah, they have gotten off to faster starts too. Lenny talked about against Wofford. They played a really good 15 minutes. Haven't had those kind of scoring lulls we talked about leading up to this kind of win streak. And one, they haven't had balanced scoring, and two, they've had stretches where they really need a bucket and couldn't get it, and they've had both of those kind of go in their favor during this kind of streak. We'll see if they can keep it going. That helps when Cade is playing really well. Then you throw Diggy in there, even though he missed the Wofford game. But still, those two things you kind of need to correct. They have been showing some more progress in those areas.
Well, let's go to Wofford. So on the one hand, against Mercer, we weren't able to shoot the three well. Against Wofford, it was the exact opposite. Over 70% from three. That's how you get to 97, folks. That's how you get to 97. Now we let them shoot pretty well, not from three, but they still got 80 points. But Grant, talk about this one, because this was probably, out of the 3 wins, the most surprising, considering how Wofford handled us the first time.
Yeah, and Wofford was down a couple starters when it comes to Kamari Holmes and Flynn. I think Luke Flynn first name, but still, Holmes had a big game against Samford up in Wofford. But yeah, it's pretty much everyone outside of Jaden and Dylan kind of scoring. Cade ended up with his career high 17 points. 14 of those came in the first half. He was hitting threes. He was 3 of 4 from three. Jaden didn't really start scoring until he caught fire late in the first half. He had maybe 4 points up to that point. He had 3 threes, had an and one, and he kind of helped Samford propel that lead. And then Dylan was in foul trouble too, so you had that going in there, and Cade was a big reason stepping up. And with Diggy being out too, is just a massive help if Cade can keep this kind of streak going and Samford's confidence getting better and better.
It's a weird game when Dylan's only getting to the line 8 times and only having 15 points. That's kind of, if we're putting up 97 and Faulkner only has 15, awesome game from the rest of the team. I mean, against Mercer, Keaton was 1 for 7 or 1 for 8 from 3, so he got a little bit of revenge, going 2 for 3 from 3, not as aggressive. Probably was told not to be as aggressive when you get 1 for 7 the prior game. But yeah, anytime you shoot over 50% from 3, good things tend to happen in basketball, Grant. Good things tend to happen. And it's always good to be Wofford.
Exactly. Yeah, no matter how many guys. Heck, we've seen Samford play Furman when Furman's down guys, and Samford couldn't find a way to win those games. Won't apologize for wins, but it's pretty funny when you get a 17 from Cade and a 14 from Keat. You get 31 points from one family, and those two guys aren't even like your top two scorers on the team. So, so that's so seeing Keat in double figures, get that confidence. 4 or 5 from three, 2 or 3 from three, 8 assists, 4 turnovers. Kind of struggled there, but I mean, if he's putting up 14 points and he's helping you chip
That's
in and
kind
helping
of
Samford get to 5 guys in double figures,
that happens
it's
with
a big
him.
reason.
He's
Yeah, it does.
outside of Booth, he's the one trying most to move the ball around, right?
Yeah.
So that makes sense. I mean, anytime Zion gets you double digit points, you're probably winning the game. Like you're probably doing really well.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, hard to nitpick anything there. 97 point output by the offense is way more than you ever need. Giving up 80 on the heels of holding Mercer to what we did, that's not awesome, but different styles of game. That's what you want to see us winning in different environments, and we were able to win a shootout even if Wofford was down a couple guys. Um, so I mean, I think what 3, 4 now it's 4 wins in a row. The upcoming slate, it's tough. It's tough. It's 3 straight road games before we get VMI back at the Pete Hanna Center, but we're at ETSU on Saturday, who's still number 1 in the conference. At Citadel, so fairly quick turnaround. We just played them a few days ago, or I guess a week ago at this point. And then at Mercer. So we're going to go Johnson City on Saturday, break, Charleston on Thursday, and then go straight to Macon on Saturday before coming home. So 2 teams in Mercer and Citadel who we've recently played going to be looking for revenge, especially Mercer, because if you're Mercer, you feel like you left a lot on the court. But Grant, let me go through the results from the past few rounds of play. So going back to the 4th, February 4th, Wofford beat VMI 81-67. UNCG, who I was incorrectly said was going to be playing on Friday, they keep winning. They beat Western 81-78.
Quite well.
ETSU over Furman 75-71 in overtime. Samford over Citadel, and then Chattanooga with I think their only win so far in February over Mercer 79-75. Then on that Saturday we beat Mercer. ETSU beat VMI 87-70. Citadel beat Chattanooga 78-71, and then Wofford over Western 77-66. UNCG again beating Furman 67-64. They might listen to the pod, Grant. They might have heard that comment.
Yeah,
Samford over Wofford. Western over Citadel, big 87-49. Western came out with a vengeance in that one. ETSU over Chattanooga 73-61. Mercer over Furman 69-64. Furman, they have our number and no one else's. UNCG over VMI 92-71. And then coming up on Saturday, Samford at ETSU, as we said, Mercer at Citadel, Furman at VMI, Western at Chattanooga, Wofford at UNCG. So a lot going on. A lot of parity, Grant. A lot of parity. ETSU is still on top. I think Wofford is still in second. So there's still basically we said last week there were I think 5 teams all tied for that 4th spot, and now it's starting to separate a little bit. So we have 3 teams now tied for the 4th spot: Furman, UNCG, and Samford. We have Citadel right below Samford, Western 1 game below Citadel, UTC 1 game below Western, and then VMI at the bottom. ETSU, Wofford, Mercer up on top, but all within 1 game of each other except ETSU, who's 2 games up. ETSU remains the class of the conference so far, which makes Saturday's game very important if Samford wants to solidify its spot. But it's made for a fun season. I mean, if it wasn't for the dadgum Furman games, I would be feeling really good about our ability to beat anyone in this conference. But my goodness, like I really don't like the fact that all of these scenarios that you came up with before the show, Grant, have us playing Furman in round 1.
Yeah, you mentioned it. 2 losses to Furman by combined 9 points too, and obviously the game at home could have. Technically, both games could have gone your way, but mainly the game at home. That was the game that Wilkins went off. But yeah, basically, if everything kind of holds at Samford, if we think Samford goes like 3-2 over the next 5, that would mean losing to ETSU and Mercer, but beating the other 3, Citadel, UNCG, and then one more on top of that. That's basically going to set up a Furman, unless Furman's slide continues. It's going to set up Furman Samford
VMI.
the 4-5 matchup. VMI, there you go, VMI at home. Yeah, that kind of sets up to where same thing as last year. Samford kind of faltered at the end, and they end up a tiebreaker, having to play Furman in the 4-5 game. We know how that happened. So this could be 3 straight years that Samford might ended up playing Furman in the SoCon tournament. We beat them in 24 in the semis to get to the final, and then last year, and then it could be 3 straight this year. But if Samford goes 4-1, they could end up being the 3 seed. So there is that factor too. So which you would avoid Furman, and if they somehow rattle off 5 more, that gets you to 9. That will get you to second place. But up again with this stretch coming up, so we could be anywhere from second to 6th, kind of at this point is where I think it could kind of shut up, unless UNCG goes off and then you lose. Say for lose 3 games, but if they go 3-2, they will be the 4 or the 5 seed. So that's kind of the goal right there. So we'll see.
It does, like, if you were to tell me after this win streak, after we've seen kind of the inconsistent play from Wofford and Mercer, it would not shock me if a Samford or a UNCG stayed hot and got to that 2 seed. It also would not surprise me if Wofford and Mercer resettle themselves, finish strong, and finish at second and third. But yeah, I mean, a week and a half ago, Grant, I would have said you're crazy if Samford could have gotten the second or third seed. Feels a little bit, it still feels unrealistic, but at least it feels possible. I do think we'll drop at least 1, if not 2, of the next 3. I mean, 3
Yeah.
straight road games, all good opponents.
Yeah.
Not a recipe for a 3-0 run. But hey, the boys are hot, and they're winning in different ways. As long as we keep making our free throws, and as long as the other team keeps missing their
fouls.
3-pointers,
Yeah.
we're gonna be all right.
And that's called math right there.
And that's
But
called math.
going through the website, if Samford goes, there's a tiebreaker website for y'all to go out there. You can go find a bball.nothing.net, and you can go through all the scenarios yourself if you want to. They do all the conferences. If you're wondering, I do use them for football stuff. But if Samford goes 4-1 over the next stretch, and Furman would go 3-2 over their stretch, Samford would end up being the 3 seed at that point. So there is that too. So Furman has to play ETSU and Wofford still remaining. So we'll see.
We shall see. We are not doing the baseball preview show yet. We'll probably do that next week. We should have been doing it this week because baseball season starts tomorrow with a doubleheader against Belmont. But you know, things happen. Schedules don't always align with what you want. But Grant, you wrote a tremendous baseball preview this year up on the website, stateofthebulldogs.com. Y'all go check it out. But Grant, just for a little taste, let's get a little taste. What are you excited about specifically about this Samford team this year? Because there's a lot of returning offense. We got our ace Mason back. Spent all last year figuring out how to say his name. So now we can all say Blashy. Right? There we go.
Yep.
What are you excited for?
I think it's what you talked about, the lineup. Last year you had to replace almost your whole lineup minus Jackson Harris and one other guy. I think Cade Carr basically. And then you turn around this year, you return 7, basically 8 if you throw in Trey Higgins, who missed the latter part of the year due to breaking his leg. Yeah, breaking his leg against VMI. Gupton is at Memphis. But yeah, I think it's a lineup when you've got guys like Cade Carr back, hit 330, 5 homers last year, 950 OPS. You bring Ince back, who had over 330, 10 homers. He's back at second. You just go down the line that you've got Jackson Harris is back at first base. So I think it's exciting to see this kind of lineup with 7 to 8 guys, and then they have a couple intriguing transfers and freshmen that kind of get in the mix there. But yeah, I think it's this lineup that kind of strikes you first. It's like, okay, this team will mash. It just comes to what the staff's going to look like outside of Mason.
I mean, that's what's awesome is we know we have some stud SEC freshman bat. We don't know who it is, but we know there's one. And you get to sprinkle them into this experienced returning lineup. We know we have some stud transfer bat. We don't know who, but we know there's going to be at least one. You get to sprinkle them into the experienced returning lineup. I mean, the offense is is going to be filthy. It's going to be absolutely filthy, which is going to give us a shot to upset Georgia in the series I'm most excited for next week in Athens. It's going to be awesome. Pitching's a wild card, always is.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about Blashy last year was that he wasn't necessarily dominant. He was 13-0. There were some games where he was certainly dominant, but he was more if without looking at the stats again, just thinking back to last year, he was more of a contact hitter, relied on the defense. Well, guess what? When your lineup returns, your defense returns. So I feel pretty good about that because you think as you go from your freshman to sophomore season, he's going to get more dominant or a little bit more powerful as a pitcher. The sky's the limit on Fridays. We'll see what happens on Saturdays and Sundays, but there's a good shot we could beat almost anyone in the country on a Friday. Not LSU, but outside of the top 5 programs in America, it's baseball. And when you got a stud ace and a scary lineup, anything can happen,
Yeah.
especially with a metal bat.
Yeah, exactly. And they did announce their rotation for this week, and they're playing 2 games today as this drops Friday on the doubleheader due to some rain coming in, one Saturday. So Mason will start game 1. Michael Fredette's an interesting name. He's a true freshman. He's going to start on Saturday. Then Andrew Marble, he's a right-handed pitcher transfer from Jones Community College. He'll start on Sunday. But I think Fredette is kind of the guy. He's like Jackson Harris. He's not the biggest guy in the world. In fact, he's 5'9", 180, and he was picked to be D1 Baseball's freshman pitcher of the year. So we'll see how that goes. See how it's going to be cool to see a guy with that stature out there on the mound, kind of sit, especially from the left side too. See how that kind of looks and how he fares against a cleated hitter. But that will be cool to watch. See Fredette. So
I do love in the NIL era, baseball much more so than basketball. You can have this feels like, and we've talked about this before, but it feels like a sustainable formula. You get some JUCO guys, community college guys, Power 5 transfers that just aren't quite good enough to kind of be some of your older guys on offense and in relief on the pitching side of things. You have a handful of guys like Parker McDonald, who's really good but stays all 4 years because baseball players are just a little bit different, and NIL is just a little bit different in baseball across the board. And then you can get your stud freshmen that you can't get in football, that you can't get in basketball, who just need exposure, need the reps, who will inevitably go SEC or ACC come their sophomore, hopefully junior season. But it just makes for a much more exciting product because we have a shot every single year. We have a shot with Coach David, so it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
yeah, speaking of
Belmont
the
is
freshmen, I
not.
didn't even
Go ahead, Grant.
speaking of the freshmen, I didn't even mention Jake Souders last year was Samford's freshman last year, 327, 8 homers, 46 RBIs.
And he's back. This is going to be his last season.
He's back for sophomore year. Yeah.
But I mean, that's just the reality. Like these guys.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Now, I mean, I say that we have Parker McDonald and Whitney on the mound, but Hayden catcher,
Yep.
Hayden Fry. I don't think he starts, but plenty of 4-year guys, which again is rare in college sports nowadays. Well, actually, maybe not, considering the judge just issued Chambliss can come back for his 6th or 7th season. Eligibility, no rules. Apparently, if you sit on the bench, it doesn't count as a year of eligibility. So, hey, guys, come on.
If you have tonsillitis, you can play as many years as you want. As long as you don't
Sore
play
throat,
that year that you have.
medical red shirt. Let's go. Don't even need a doctor's note until after the fact. That's the best part.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that whole thing is just insane. I still think the most ironic part of the chaos in college sports is all the institutions are members of the NCAA and agreed to all of these rules that they challenge in court. It's so silly. Anyway, Belmont, Missouri Valley Conference, formerly OVC Conference, just a few seasons ago. Decent baseball program. Not a juggernaut. I don't know when the last time they made the NCAA tournament, but last year they made it to maybe the semifinals of the Missouri Valley Conference tournament. They're around 500 each season, similar to Samford. So should be a good matchup. I have no idea what they're like this year, but It seems like a good program that's not going to roll over may beat us. Who knows? I mean, the first series, you just never know what you're going to get. And everybody overreacts, and then inevitably, there are probably 15 teams in the top 25 right now that we will forget about in about 2 months. We'll forget they were even ranked at one point. Last year, you had, who was it, Grant? Virginia and A&M. A&M was like preseason number 1, and they didn't even.
No, yeah,
I don't
that's
even
right.
think they
Yeah,
made the playoffs.
because that's when no, he left before. I was about to say when Schloss left, but that was after.
Yeah, 2 years ago. Yeah, A&M and
Yeah,
I
they didn't make the
think the
tournament. Yeah,
other team was Virginia. There were two top 5 teams um, that just tanked right off the bat. So,
yeah.
needless to say, let's not read too much into the first series against Belmont. Should be a good one. I mean, I expect us to win the series. It's at home. The boys are going to be ready to play, chomping at the bit. Blashy's going to throw a gem in the first game on Friday. Um, and then hopefully, if he throws well Friday, maybe they hold him for game 2 to give him the Friday night start. A few more people in the crowd. Who knows?
You could.
I'll be at the Saturday game, most likely. Going to make another run to the storage unit. So might as well catch the 1 o'clock. Is it 1 o'clock Eastern? Since I'm in
Central.
Eastern, it's 1 Central.
It's 1 Central. You're Eastern now, but you're coming to God's time zone in
God,
a little
and
bit.
God's time zone's Mountain Time. We all know that. We all know that.
That's
There's nothing better than breakfast and football. Um, so yeah, I mean it's gonna be it's a hot start to the season though because you got Belmont and you turn right around and play Georgia in Athens, which I will also be attending at least one of those games because when it's in your own backyard, you gotta go.
you gotta go. Yeah. In fact, you didn't even account Bama in the midweek. Bama comes to Homewood, so you got the Belmont series in Alabama, and
That's
then
right.
and then you go to Athens.
And we play Bama twice, right? I think we have Bama twice
Yes,
this year.
yeah. There's a couple that we don't play twice.
Yeah,
Actually, we
we go
don't.
to Tuscaloosa in April. We have Auburn twice and
There it is.
Alabama
Yeah,
twice.
yeah. Auburn twice, Bama twice, Mississippi State once,
Yep. Troy,
and then Troy
Jacksonville
twice.
State, little rivalry. I think we played
Throw
them
in
last year. Didn't it get chippy?
throw in North Alabama too, playing. Then we'll play them in football coming up.
Yeah, they wrecked us last year, 6-12 in Jacksonville.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, I just pulled up last year's beginning of the season. That was brutal. The split against Kennesaw State, getting dragged by Tennessee on the road, wasn't until we got to March where we felt better about the squad, beating UT Martin in a 3-game series and then sweeping Evansville, were just coming off of the big playoff run they had made.
That's
So, or maybe that had been a season removed. Any other comments on baseball before we head out of here? Or
I think
basketball?
we got to cover. There's a couple of non-basketball things I wanted to cover real quick. Shout out to Jaden Booth and his wife Kiki. They announced that they're pregnant with their first child, so wanted to shout that out. So yeah, Samford's got 2 married guys, and one of them has a baby on the way, which is
Awesome.
pretty Samford. That's awesome. Yeah,
Welcome to the
shout
NIL
out
era.
yeah, shout out to Jaden. Haven't met Kiki yet. It'd be cool to meet her sometime. But shout out to both of them, and then. Samford students, you guys suck. You don't go to any games. I don't know what you guys are doing.
Yeah, dude, there was the student section was not great for the Mercer game.
I appreciate the one guy in the hot dog costume who said he's trying everything he can. I wish there were more people like you, sir, because the rest of your compadres, guys and gals, don't show up. So I don't know what you're doing. So I'm just going to call you out now rather than beating around the bush. I'm going to say you suck and you need to get some games. We won't have 2 home games left. So.
I forgot to mention softball. I watched the UConn game and the Florida State game, which were awesome. Fortunately, missed the Marshall and the 2 Iowa games. So remember, we had the MTE in Tallahassee. We beat UConn first game 6-2. Lost to Florida State. She was out. I don't know how. Like, there's no way she could have beaten the tag at home, which would have kept the game tied because they scored immediately on the next batter as well for the only 2 runs that Florida State got across. Now, granted, we got no hit, so we weren't going to win the game. But defensively, we were awesome. Our pitcher was awesome. But yeah, then it was just downhill from there. We kind of regathered ourselves, lost 2-3 to Iowa in the very last game. But man, what a spirited effort. Could have beaten top 10 Florida State. She was out though. She was definitely out. I just don't know how you
Yeah,
beat that tag. I mean, literally,
know.
our catcher has the ball, and she hasn't even started the slide.
Yeah,
And
how you
she's safe.
overturn that? I don't know how you don't overturn that. Yeah, it's like
Yes. Well, then that was
it's
the
like give
thing.
us a
If they
bone
had
here.
called her
Yeah,
out, they couldn't
yeah.
overturn that. But they called her safe because we had an 80-year-old ump behind the plate. Anyway, we have the Samford tournament this weekend. So, might catch. Let's see. The baseball game's at 1.
One.
Softball starts at 12:30. Might
Yeah,
get a
we've got a
few innings of the Lindenwood game. We play Lindenwood twice, North Alabama once, and Belmont.
yeah we've got a full Saturday. Basketball's the HDSU at 11 Central. Softball's home at 12:30, and then baseball's home at 1. So that's pretty stacked Feb 14th right there. And home at
Yeah, it's pretty
5:30.
hype.
So yeah, softball 5:30. So yeah, that's a full Saturday.
And the Olympics are in full swing. Hockey dragged Lafayette today, 5-1. We look good.
It
Women's
could have been like 8 to
annihilated
1, but
Canada.
yeah.
We're teaching the Canadians about their own sport.
Yeah.
It's almost like imagine if Canada could beat us in basketball. Like just imagine that for a moment. They can't.
They're getting close. No, close is an opera term. They have some better players, but I mean not like a full team, obviously. But
Yeah, no, they are
that's what I'm
getting
saying.
better players, just like Serbia. But still doesn't mean they're going to beat us. But yeah,
Yeah.
the Olympics are faring well. I mean, our ice skaters apparently got hosed by the French judge. I will say, Grant, my one gripe with the winter sports, which I don't have in the summer, I get excited. I'm like, oh man, that was a great run by like a skier or something in the freestyle or
Yeah.
whatever. And then they show like a 40, and you're like, how was that a 40? And then the next Joe Blow goes and they get like a 75, and you're just like, I literally could not discern a difference. That's a problem. That's a problem. Figure skating, especially, I would not be able to tell you what is a good score or a bad score. But there has to be, we either got to dumb it down or do away with the judgmental Olympic sports, because if I can't turn on and just watch the race, what are we doing?
Yeah. We need a criteria. We need a scale. Okay, this is what this looks like. It's like the targeted rule of football. It's like, how do we know he should be ejected? It's like, I don't
It's
know,
the
but the rule says
worst.
he should be ejected. He has to get thrown out. But yeah, the French judge is suspect with those figure skaters. Like, they just happen to be better than
Now,
the
granted,
U.S.
the
and
American
whatever.
judge, the spread was 5 points. The French judge spread was 8 points. So there was some bias on our side, to be fair. To be fair. But still, come on.
How about the guy that was I forget what the officials call it, but it was like that you run a mile on skis. Basically, you go uphill. Did you see that video? The guy basically like sprinting uphill, and then you ski downhill. It's like a full race where you gotta just claw
No, but
your
that
way up the
sounds like a
hill.
terrible sport.
Yeah, it's insane.
See,
I
okay,
think they
again,
call it like schemo or something, but yeah, it's insane.
the Winter Olympics really emphasize the word game. Like these feel much more like games. Like, hey buddy, let's sprint up this hill and then ski down, and whoever can do it
Yeah,
the fastest wins. It's like, all right, I get there's some athletic ability there, um, the stamina, the strength, what have you, but it's a little gimmicky. Don't even get me started on curling. That's the most gimmicky.
curling's the
That's
best one.
not.
But then the hockey,
It's literally
outside of hockey, it's
not.
the best sport.
Hockey is the best sport of the Winter Olympics.
Right, I'll give hockey
The
its
biathlon
own
is
category, but
also
curling's
sick.
better.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm in the minority. I think curling's on the uptick because people like to think they're cool. I'm not saying this is you, but people think they're cool, saying that they know all about curling. But I think that's wearing off, and I think we'll see a natural regression back to its normal fanhood levels. I will say, it does not help that the U.S. is doing well. And like, we're getting medals in
Yeah,
what is
one gold last
essentially a
time, right?
backyard sport. But anyway, I mean, the last thing I'll say, the worst thing that's going on is the uh, Chinese trader who was an American young phenom skier, snowboarder, and then switches over to China for $6 million up front, and then she's cashed in over $20 million of endorsement deals with Chinese brands and some American brands. And it's just like, all right, come on, really, really.
Funny how that works out. Yeah.
Like she finishes her run and she says, "Thank you, thank all my friends back home." And I'm like, "No, that's not a Chinese athlete representing the People's Republic of China. That's an American who's been bought by the communists." It's tough out here, Grant. It's tough out here just
That's
trying to
good.
be a normal American.
Yeah, no more American, and then you just sue the NCAA to play your 12th year of football. Like everything's
That's
going
right.
great. It's awesome.
This country's burning from the inside out, baby. With
And,
that,
and
State
Sanford
of Bulldogs.
Sanford basketball is 4-0 in the middle of it. So
That's right. And baseball's beginning. So
yeah.
only we can only go up from here. State of the Bulldogs is out. We will catch you all next week. Please go to the basketball games. Go to the basketball games.
There's only 2 left. Show up.
Have a good week.